Hey guys, it's Rob. Today was a fucking shit fucking day. It all actually started yesterday. I ended up going to sleep, missed the drunken peasants, blah 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 blah. Was awake um early in the morning. I got a text message from one of my neighbors saying that there was another prank food delivery. Apparently, I was zonked out when it came. So, I emailed the cop that I had talked to during the last batch of shit. Told him it had happened again. Went on YouTube, saw a comment from and Carl was bragging about how he had done it the first time, and all this other crap. So I fucking screen capped that shit and emailed it to that cop, and he said, "Okay, well, we'll investigate this guy." And then he said that there was enough collective damage over the multiple times that it was done for it to be considered, you know, like a major like fucking crime. So I went out onto the porch. I brought my skateboard out onto the porch. I was planning on leaving, and before I left, I wanted to upload a video apologizing to Haggy Rants for blaming him for everything that had happened. But instead, I got confronted by my neighbor again. I'm not gonna go into full detail on what happened, but pretty much he said, you got something to say to me, and then every time I tried talking, he just shouted me down and, made it so that way I couldn't say anything back. So I just allowed him to just say what he needed to say, but he did like legitimately threaten to hit me. So last couple of times it happened, it was kind of ambiguous, but this time it was a definite threat. So I was like, okay, I've had enough of this fucking guy. So went back inside, totally fucking pissed off. Emailed my case manager. He said to call him, so I called him on his fucking day off. We talked. We talked about how if the guy did anything, he would get, his agency would do something about it, and then he would get, Pine Tree Legal and the Maine Disability Rights Center and a whole bunch of other people on the guy. Like, this guy would be, like, fucking destroyed. Because I do have, mental health disorders and, physical disabilities and all kinds of other stuff. Like, I fall under, like, 4 or 5 different hate crime laws myself. So, and all this was over just, a general miscomfort by me and 2-3 other people about having, Joshua Graves living in a tent, without, the police properly supervising him, which is the whole point of the whole registry thing. He just kind of like wanders around town Like nobody ever knows where he is or what he's capable of doing, and he's like, it's kind of scary. I mean, because the guy, like, I'm being completely honest, the guy runs. Well, Joshua Graves is just like, 1 minute he's perfectly fine, and then the next minute he's like yelling and screaming at people, flipping out. Like he's like he's got to be like fucking bipolar or something. But it people in the building were nervous about it, you know, and just but everybody around here is just so uh, people around here are afraid to be the nail that sticks up, and so I was like, fuck it, I might as well, just be the bad guy like I always am, and I just started talking about how uncomfortable I was with it, and and mentioned that other people were uncomfortable with it, so yeah. um so then, oh, but before that, Joseph uploaded this video of this trumpet from heaven video, and I was like, that video is fake. Like, I wasn't trying to be rude. I wasn't um I wasn't like trying to invalidate his beliefs or anything. I was just like, yeah, that trumpet thing is in your theology. You know, it's okay to believe in it, but just don't believe a random YouTube video is real. Like, don't don't believe something is happening until you actually witness it yourself, or if it's so, or if it's happening everywhere at once, worldwide, all at once, every single person, every single, like, I felt I felt I felt bad for him. Like, he could potentially be taken advantage of. Like, uh, like what kind of con man could steal money from him? Like, is he sending money to, like, you know like these televangelists who, like, want to sell him like big buckets of food and shit like that? Like, those guys are fucking con artists. All right? Like, I just wish he would have a little bit more judgment. Like, think, well, maybe this particular video isn't real. You know? But okay, anyways, to get back to the neighbor thing. I ended up being like so fucking pissed off that I just brought my skateboard back inside and just didn't bother, because it wasn't going to be fun. I was just frustrated because the guy was so fucking aberrated. So I I walk downtown, and I run into somebody else I didn't want to fucking run into. And I'm like usually like really fucking nice to this person, even though I just don't like dealing with them. But this time I was like, he was like, "Oh, hey, Rob," and I was like, "Oh, hi." He's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you about this. You know, um, I got into an argument with, my friend Mike, and blah 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 blah." I was like, I looked at him. I was like, dude, like this happens every fucking week. You know, I was like, this guy treats you like shit. Why do you fucking hang out with him? He's like, and then he got all fucking pissy and shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, fuck you, dude. I don't fucking talk to me ever again. So I leave, and he like calls me a couple. He like yells some shit at me, and then um I have my phone out and I'm looking at Twitter, and I had told my friend Otto about Joseph Martelli's new Twitter, and he's like, "Good thing I don't give a fuck," you know. And I could tell that he's like angry for some reason. So I'm just like, ugh. Um. So I I walk up to Hannaford, and I'm in Hannaford, and like some random lady comes up to me and like asks me where like the rice pudding is, and I said I don't know, and then she was like angry that I didn't know, but then I realized that I'm wearing a fucking jumper, zip up jumper that says Hannaford on it. Like I I never worked there or anything like that. I got it from a family member who worked there, but it's just I forgot that it said that on there. So this lady saw me wearing that and thought that I worked there. And then I thought it was funny, so I recorded a little video for my mom, telling her what happened, and uploaded that using my data. And then um sent it to her unlisted. It's an unlisted video, and she thought it was funny. So then I felt a little bit better, and then I walked to the library. And when I got to the library, I went on YouTube, and Joseph had like uploaded like 20, like no, like 10 or 20 different videos bitching about me on like multiple different fucking channels. Like he was pissed off that I was like, oh, hey, that video might be fake, and then I responded to him and I said, hey, that video might be fake, but I'm not saying that, you know, that couldn't happen, or if your religion is true, that it wouldn't. I was just like trying to like be like, hey, it's a possibility that people are faking things that the Bible says are going to happen because they know that they'll get a whole bunch of views and likes from religious people. But he's incapable of thinking that people would profit off of the Bible or exploit the Bible for their own personal gain. It is just it's ridiculous. Um so I stayed there for like at the library until 11 ish. And then I went up into the lobby of the library, and I made a video apologizing to Haggy Rants for blaming him for the pizzas and shit like that, because it was Carl whatever Manaba, and then fucking Carl started leaving all these fucking comments, and then Gardner Island guy, Gardner whatever guy, Gardner garden cleaning, garden growing guy, whatever. Like, I thought that guy was my friend, but he's like joking around with him, like saying it's funny and all this other fucking shit when it isn't. Like, I thought this fucking guy was my friend, you know, but apparently fucking not. So I'm sitting there and I just felt myself just like shutting down, and out of nowhere I just started feeling clusters attaching to myself from nowhere. I was drawing free radicals to myself, and now I am like covered in clusters. And I just feel absolutely fucking miserable. Like, I have probably traveled miles in the wrong direction right now. And I just... I just feel like complete, utter garbage. Like, so fucking sad. So fucking miserable. So then, I walked around and I found a homeless guy who missed the Saturday supper at the soup kitchen, and he needed money, and I was feeling really bad about everything. So I gave him some money. I gave him like $20. And then I went to Wendy's and I spent $10 on myself at Wendy's. I thought maybe that would make me feel better, but it didn't. And in fact, this is really fucking embarrassing. I started like almost crying. I was just sitting at the table, and I started feeling like I was gonna cry, and my face got all red and stuff. And I look over, and there's like this girl, and this is like really pretty girl, like way too young for me to be even thinking she's pretty. And she just, the way she looked at me was like, she felt so, like she looked at me like, wow, that guy's miserable. And I could tell that she could tell how miserable I was. And it just set me right off. I grabbed up all my stuff and just left. And as soon as I got out, I just started like fucking crying like crazy. And then I just sat down on this, like, there's this little wall thing in front of the post office at the intersection, like near where Amato's is. I just like sat there and cried for like 40 like an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And then I got up, and then I felt kind of better, but I just started feeling heavier and heavier. Um so I kept walking, and then I ran into another homeless guy, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give away the rest of my money to this guy, and then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna slit my fucking wrists in the bathtub. So then I walked down Water Street, and I saw this neat like statue thing, so I tried to act happy just for a couple minutes to shoot a video. So that way, like, if I did decide to upload it, like if I broke through whatever was getting through me, there wouldn't be a video of me like crying while showing off a statue or being all red-faced. So I just did my pretend happy voice and recorded a video of this stupid statue thing. And then walked back. I was gonna go just like sit and enjoy the day at Mill Park, but fucking Joshua Graves was there, sitting on a fucking picnic table. So I wasn't gonna go there because don't want to be anywhere around that fucking piece of shit. So I just came home and miserable. I'm just fucking tired and miserable and alone. Whatever. Unfucking subscribe.